You're Talking Books. I'm Michelle Martin. The book I have in my hand, the advanced reader's copy, will only be published in 2 weeks' time. It will be here in Singapore in a fortnight, and you'll be able to walk away with your very own copy of Sapiens from tomorrow. And this evening, 10 minutes past 7, you'll hear me speak live with the author of today's book pick, Dr. Yuval Noah Harari, live coming up at 10 minutes past 7. That's just about 25 minutes or so away. What's the link between gender distinctions and historical change? 65,000 people signed up for his online course, A Brief History of Humankind. And in this book, Sapiens, Dr. Yuval Noah Harari takes us on a blistering tour through about 70,000 years of human evolution. It's, reading this book, which is impossible to summarize, feels like glancing at a code, the code that keeps the world order running, or the world as we know it going. That's what it feels like. Dr. Yuval Noah Harari has a PhD in history from the University of Oxford, and he now lectures at the Department of History at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Sapiens was published in Hebrew, and that particular edition was copied in about 20 different languages. But this particular book, the English edition of Sapiens, will only be available trade paperback later this month in September. He's just 38 years old, but in just 500 pages, the book takes us on a journey of how man, as an insignificant animal, developed into an animal capable of intervening into organic life as we understand it through genetic manipulation today. The book also gives us an understanding of what the world could look like 1,000 years from now. Sapiens by Dr. Yuval Noah Harari. Fire, he says, gave us power. Gossip helped us cooperate. Agriculture made us hungry for more. Find out more about a book that challenges everything we know about being human, and one that also will blow your mind in terms of what we can expect in terms of the world order in 1,000 years from now, in a millennia. Let me read you an excerpt of the terrific book, Sapiens. Where do I start? Where do I end? It's just all so good. Okay, here we go. A day in the life of Adam and Eve. To understand our nature, history, and psychology, we must get inside the heads of our hunter-gatherer ancestors. For nearly the entire history of our species, sapiens lived as foragers. The past 200 years, during which ever-increasing numbers of sapiens have obtained their daily bread as urban laborers and office workers, and the preceding 10,000 years, during which most sapiens lived as farmers and herders, are the blink of an eye compared to the tens of thousands of years during which our ancestors hunted and gathered. The flourishing field of evolutionary psychology argues that many of our present-day social and psychological characteristics were shaped during this long pre-agricultural era. Even today, scholars in this field claim our brains and minds are adapted to a life of hunting and gathering. Our eating habits, our conflicts, are all the result of the way our hunter-gatherer minds interact with our current post-industrial environment, with its megacities, airplanes, telephones, and computers. This environment gives us more material resources and longer lives than those enjoyed by any previous generation, but it often makes us feel alienated, depressed, and pressured. To understand why, evolutionary psychologists argue we need to delve into the hunter-gatherer world that shaped us, the world that we subconsciously still inhabit. For example, why do people still gorge on high-calorie food that is doing little good to their bodies? Well, if a Stone Age woman came across a tree groaning with figs, the most sensible thing to do was to eat as many of them as she could on the spot before the local baboon handpicked the tree bare. The instinct to gorge on high-calorie food was hardwired into our genes. Today, we may be living in high-rise apartments with overstuffed refrigerators, but our DNA still thinks we're on the savannah. That's what makes us spoon down an entire pint of Ben & Jerry's when we find one in the freezer and wash it down with a jumbo Coke. More great ideas in Sapiens by Dr. Yuval Noah Harari. You hear from the author live right here on 938 Live in about 20 minutes. Stay tuned to WOW, kicking off at 10 minutes past 7. And my book pick for you today, Sapiens. Don't write to me and say, Michelle, I can't find the book on bookshelves anywhere. What do I do? It will only be available in 2 weeks from now on bookshelves here in Singapore. But I'm giving you heads up. And tomorrow I'll give you a copy of the book itself. This is Talking Books. I'm Michelle Martin.